Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hola, for those that are up early in the chat, man, we have a lot to talk about. Of course, UFC Katar versus Gigachikanza. UFC Fight Night is back. There were some issues getting it off, though. A lot of canceled fights. We've seen a lot of these cards recently with as many as 14 or 15 fights. That's not going to be the case this week. None of this 14 or 15 fights. There's no early prelims. So that's what's canceled. So if you've been watching the early prelims on UFC Fight Pass, which I really don't think any of you guys probably have UFC Fight Pass and not ESPN Plus, since Fight Pass is actually more expensive. But if you do, you won't see early prelims on UFC Fight Pass this week. It'll be just the regular prelims. I think it's 4 fights over on ESPN Plus on the prelims, and then the main card will have 6 fights. So 10 fights, still a pretty good card. Coming back, some interesting fights on this one. 5 in the chat now. Make sure, guys, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button if you like what we do here. Hit that super chat if you wish to tip or, wish me everybody a happy New Year's or, you always appreciate that. And always appreciate all of our premium members as well while we're waiting for everybody to come in. Thank you to all the premium members. All of these guys, they donate a monthly stipend. They don't have to, they don't have to do that. They don't have to pay that, but they do. It's very cool of them. I appreciate it very much. Let's give all these guys a shout out real quick while we're waiting for people to come in. Guys, premium members. A lot of these guys have been premium members since we started this for over a year. So thank you very much. Cowboy has a big fight coming up at UFC 272. What's up, Bill Hughes? There's a ton of news going on, man. Speaking of premium member Billy Hughes, shout out to the premium members. Greg Brimstone. Greg, if you're in the house, thank you for all the retweets and likes on Twitter. I did see those today. I was sitting down for a nap, but thank you for retweeting that. On our card tomorrow, we will be giving away the Mike Tyson Kid Dynamite Sports Illustrated. This is an iconic Sports Illustrated magazine. It's been on ESPN. It's been on Joe Rogan Experience. He's talked about that. He actually had young Jamie go out and get him a copy. Secure him a copy. Secure your copy by going to the community tabs on our channel, making your pick for Gigachikanza versus Katar. It has to be on that community post. I want them all in the same place so we can all look at them in the same spot. That's how we're going to do these contests from now on. I want you to pick the winner, the method that they're going to win, and then the tiebreaker is going to be round and time. So say you picked Katar by knockout. Katar wins by knockout. That's going to trump anybody who didn't pick Katar by knockout. Then if other people pick the same as you, we're going to go down to the time. Say you picked round 3, 2 minutes and 2 seconds. You were fantastic, got it within 10 seconds. It was 2:12, boom. You win the magazine. So I hope you guys will go over there and do that. Actually, I'm going to bring up that real quick. For those of you that don't know or just haven't voted yet, in the poll right now, let's bring up that poll real quick. And I'm just going to bring it up in the display capture so you guys can see exactly how to go there. And I'll actually bring it up as if it's not my channel too. So you guys will be able to see exactly how that's going to look. So let's go over there. If you're not around Fights of Friends, you can just type in Fights of Friends. You're going to go to the channel. Then you're going to go, it's kind of small here, but see how you have home, you have videos, you have the community tab. And you're going to go down here to the community tab. You can see 51 of you have voted so far. It looks like 65% of you for Giga, 35% for Katar. Not real surprised there, but 51 votes. And we only have 4 predictions. So far, we only have 4 people that are eligible to win that magazine right now. Josiah Perez, Greg Brimstone, KT McManus 4, and Billy Hughes. It looks like we have 4 different predictions too. Giga by decision for Josiah Perez. Greg Brimstone's got Giga second round, 2-minute knockout. McManus has Katar knockout round 3, didn't put a time. If you want to amend that, McManus, and put a time just in case somebody else picks that and knocks you off. And then Billy, Katar, unanimous decision. So 65% of you voted for Giga in the poll. But so far, when it comes down to the predictions, it's 2-2. Who's he fighting? What's up, Josiah Perez? I don't know. I didn't see who Cerrone's fighting. That's not even news that I was looking to bring up right now. I'll tell you what I was going to bring up first. I'm here live from the bar. The Drunken Charge is here. Robert Kerrigan. All right. Hopefully you guys are putting this up on the big screen at the bar where you're at. I'm sure they won't let you do that. But let's look at the welterweight division here real quick. We got the UFC divisions here, but we're going to look at the welterweight divisions, and this is kind of, it's finally kind of taking care of itself. Most people are kind of have an opponent now. Khamzat Chimaev, it could be a few guys. We've heard Jeff Neal. We've heard Sean Brady. It looks like most likely Sean Brady at this point. Neil Magny's name's been thrown in there too, though. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with the Chimaev thing. Because at first, people were saying, hey, nobody wants to fight Chimaev. Well, now we find out that's not true. Jeff Neal says, I'll fight him. Sean Brady says, I'll fight him. Neil Magny says, I'll fight him. So that's at least 3 guys that want to fight Khamzat Chimaev. I believe Rafael Dos Anjos threw his name in there as well. Paddy Pimblett. I did see that. I did see that Paddy Pimblett might be fighting Donald Cerrone. That's a scary fight for Donald at his age. At his age, with the miles that are on that body, that's a scary fight. And I'm afraid, obviously Pimblett's got to take care of business in the octagon, but I'm afraid they're looking to build Paddy off Cowboy's name, which is, that's what the UFC does, though. That's the fight game. If you stick around, you're the lion, you stick around long enough, you end up the prey. We've seen this over and over and over again. The first example I kind of remember of it in the UFC, at least, was on Spike TV when Rich Franklin was very much an unknown, and the main event ended up going against Ken Shamrock. Ken Shamrock, was getting up there, a little older in age. Rich Franklin was this guy that nobody really knew who he was. I'd never seen him fight before. They ended up having Rich Franklin fight Ken Shamrock, and Rich started to build his name off of Ken, and then ended up becoming the champion for quite some time until Anderson came in and dethroned him. That being said, let's go back though. This fight was just announced. Jorge Mosveto and Colby Covington, former training partners. There's been a lot of beef between these guys over the years, but I gotta say, guys, in the last year to 2 years, I have never been less interested in that fight than I am right now. I'll definitely still watch it. I'm definitely still excited about it, but I know it's kind of a Hail Mary. The UFC, there's things that have gotten pushed out. For those that don't know, Max Holloway got injured. He was out of the match with Alexander Volkanovski. So the Korean zombie Chan Sung-jung jumping in there. Then you have Petr Yan and Aljamain Sterling. That one is off. According to Aljamain, it's Jan's fault that he can't get in. He can't fight that week because he's not vaccinated. I really haven't heard anything else. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Aljamain's doing, because he's postponed this several times. Been a bit of a troll lately. Not trying to pick on Aljamain, but I mean, it kind of is what it is. And you have, I believe they've been talking about Vicente Luque and Bilal Muhammad fighting each other. So that takes care of the 4 and 5. Like I said, you got Leon Edwards and, Colby Covington, the number 1, taking on number 6, Jorge Masvidal. Vicente Luque and Bilal Muhammad, that has been said to be in the works. It's like an elimination bout. Gilbert Burns, also rumored to be fighting Khamzat Chimaev. That's the other one. That's actually, I think that's actually the closest one to being signed right now. I forgot about that. So many names in there with Khamzat, but Khamzat could definitely take a huge jump. Number 11 taking on the number 2 contender. Dana said he wanted to see Khamzat possibly in there for a title shot within 18 months. That was about 3 months ago. Fighting Gilbert Burns would definitely leapfrog him forward. Jason Kagan says Aljo is going to find any way out to avoid Petr. I agree, man. Aljo's actions pick on him for himself. You ain't picking on him. Yeah, it's like I try to be fair, but it's like this guy, he's trolled himself, and I think he's even kind of embraced some of, the self-inflicted hate. So it's just, he's put himself in a really tough spot. And I really liked Aljo before this whole thing. I'm just not really sure what to think of him at this point. I really don't like what's going on between him and Jan. But that being said, so you look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think Stephen Thompson has a fight. His name has been thrown out there. I don't think Chiesa, but basically everybody in your top 10, top 12 is either in a fight or has been rumored to be in a fight. And the only guy that wasn't, so process of elimination, Leon Edwards finally getting his title shot after a 14-fight win streak. Doesn't seem like there's anybody else for him to fight because everybody's tied up. But I'll tell you guys why I think one of the biggest reasons that Leon Edwards might be finally getting that title shot. And it might not be what you think. So in the UFC, we have seen some guys get some title shots when we know that they're maybe not the most likely fighter to win the belt. Chael Sonnen, when he went against John Jones, not a lot of people gave him a lot of chance in that fight, even though, it ended up being a late notice and they ended up rescheduling it. he was really too small for Jones. And I think a lot of people knew that, and we've seen the results of that. Also, Daniel Cormier ended up fighting Derek Lewis when Derek Lewis was not the guy that was going to be getting a title shot. We all knew that was kind of fan service. It was kind of more service towards Cormier, I think, for partly for putting up with all the crap for John Jones failing all the different tests and everything throughout the years. If that fight made it to the second round, Jones loses the belt because it would have been a doctor stoppage. You are correct, because I believe John Jones ripped his toe off, broke one of his toes, and his toe was like hanging on by a thread. So yeah, that would have been a crazy way for Chael to get his title. But it would have been nice to see Chael get a title before he retired. Not in that way, but it just would have been nice for me. I've always been a big Chael fan. But then, like I said, yeah, you had Derek Lewis being thrown in against Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier kind of got another favor because he had an opponent fall out at UFC 200. He ended up fighting Anderson Silva, and it was a non-title bout, and it just, that was kind of a fan service kind of thing to make things happen too. What's up, J-Dig in the house? Compound fracture of the toe. Chael never lost a round. I stand corrected. I almost forgot, Jason. Thank you for that reminder. Great Chael Sonnen. All right, 8 in the chat. Don't forget to hit that like button as we go through what's going on in the UFC right now. We've got a lot to talk about. Anderson almost dropped him with a liver kick. Remember that. I remember that. It was a very good fight. Anderson coming in on super late notice, super undersized, and then, I had a shot. He only lost fights, not rounds. I like it, Jason. So, somehow out of all of this, though, Leon Edwards, like I said, looks like he's finally going to get his title shot. Dana White came out and said, Leon Edwards is 100% the next for Kamura Usman. He came out and said that. It was either yesterday or the day before. So Leon Edwards is going to get that shot. And I will tell you, I am going to thank somebody you guys might not think of at all, but I'm going to thank Nate Diaz for him finally getting his title shot. When I talked about guys getting a title shot that they might not necessarily think that they have the best chance, the reason I brung up Chael Sonnen, the reason I brung up Derek Lewis, is because I believe, possibly, not 100%, but I believe it's a good possibility that they're like, oh, we don't want this Leon Edwards guy in there as champion. He's not really getting, the numbers we would like. And then he gets hit by Nate, and he gets stunned, and it looks like Nate, might have been able to take him out had he jumped on him. He did not, of course. But after that, I think people said, hey, look what Usman's been doing to guys. He's been starching people. Starched Jorge Mosveto, completely unconscious. Starched Colby Covington. The guy, his striking has just came into its own. He's got incredible power. I think they thought, wow, if Nate Diaz can just about knock Leon Edwards out, Usman should be able to do it. He's obviously got the advantage in the wrestling. And now he's, they're thinking, hey, he can probably strike with Leon too. And he's beaten him before. So, we think this is safe. Let's give Leon his due. That way we don't have this monkey on our back of saying, oh, why isn't Leon Edwards getting a title shot on his 14-fight win streak or whatever it is. I honestly don't remember how many it is. But it's a lot. And honestly, just kind of for karma, I hope Leon Edwards pulls off the upset and defeats Kamura Usman. I really do. Derek Lewis versus Tai Tuivasa, also going to be a war. That could end up being our most anticipated fight of the year that has absolutely no rankings or title implications. These guys are, I mean, I know Derek, he won his last fight. The fight before that, he lost to Cyril Gane, who's now the interim champion. You got Derek over at number 3. You got Tai Tuivasa way down at number 11. Yeah, if Tuivasa defeats Lewis, he moves up, no doubt. I don't think he moves up past Curtis Blades. Maybe not even past Volkov. I would put him against over Rosenstruck and Dawkins. I would have him probably take 6 of Rosenstruck's spot. And Derek, of course, would move down. I don't know where Derek would move down because I don't know if you could move him below Curtis Blades and Volkov, though, because he beat both of those guys. If Lewis wins, he's in a tough spot because, like I said, he just lost to Gane. If Francis wins, and we got to talk about Francis, that's what we're going to lead into next. But yeah, that is a fun fight. Tai Tuivasa versus Derek Lewis. That's a fight nobody thinks is going to go the distance. Knock on wood. We don't have another Ngannou Lewis. It's not going to happen though, guys. How awesome would it be for the Bishop of Boring to KO the champ of cringe? I like it. Oh, I feel sorry for whoever has to fight Lewis between now and Ngannou again. Yeah, it's Tuivasa, man. And i.e. Edwards versus Usman. Yeah, it's, like I said, not hating on Usman, but I hope Leon Edwards pulls off the upset. I really do. Since Billy brung up Ngannou and Tuivasa, that's got to bring me into our next subject. Francis Ngannou. This very rarely ever happens. I've heard Connor talk some numbers, but nothing specific. The only other time besides Connor and this I can think of that a fighter came out and said, hey, I'm going to tell you guys what I make. And that was Randy Couture. And he did it on public television when he gave up the belt and he was holding out Francis Ngannou. I was very surprised to learn that he was only making $500,000-$600,000 a fight. He should be getting pay-per-view percentages, I would imagine. Of course, he has not actually defended his belt. He just beat Stipe. So, maybe he should have seen that. He should know that he's got pay-per-view options coming. But I would be surprised if he was only getting $500,000 to $600,000 to fight Cyril Gane, but that's what he's saying is happening. So I don't blame him for being a bit upset. How is Usman not popped for steroids? How is Aldo, by the way? Oh, J-Dig, name the movie. I don't know, man. I've been suspicious of Usman for a while, but I mean, until he pops, I can't really say, hey, this guy's on steroids, of course. Schaub showed his contract online too, plus what Schaub made from sponsors. Nice, Bill. And I know one other fighter has after he retired too. And he's got a YouTube channel. He's in Bellator. He's not actually retired, but it's my... God, I can't think of the guy's last name. I was just watching his YouTube channel the other day. Miles Jury. Over there in Bellator, who just re-signed and got a nice contract, by the way. So, congrats to Miles Jury. I'm very happy for him. But let's look into this Francis Ngannou thing, which supposedly they did not talk. Francis and the UFC and his agents did not talk since, I think pretty much since the Stipe fight. They were saying for like 6 months. Until Francis and Dana supposedly, coincidentally, ran into each other at a restaurant. I wouldn't be surprised if Dana knew he was going there and wanted to run into him. He said he had a great conversation with him, but that's just speculation. Jason says, see Usman's college body versus current body. Gaethje's body ain't changed for nothing. Yeah, Gaethje just looks like an athlete. He doesn't look like a superhuman. But let's look at this Francis Ngannou article. Shout out to MMA Junkie for this article. Francis Ngannou is willing to re-sign with the UFC under 2 conditions. Ahead of his title unification bout against Cyril Gane in the UFC 270 main event January 22nd, heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou, 16-3 MMA, 11-2 in the UFC. Of course, his 2 losses in the UFC, 1 to Stipe Miocic, which he avenged. The other one, should he get past this and re-sign, is to Derek Lewis. So we could possibly see him fight Derek Lewis again, should Lewis get past Tuivasa, which I favor him to do, and should Francis get past Gane, which is a big if. Ngannou has signed a 5-fight contract with the UFC in December 2017, will complete his current contract if he loses to Gane, who is 10-0 MMA, 7-0 in the UFC. If he retains his title, the deal will extend for more fights. The UFC contract is tricky, Ngannou told ESPN. That's why we sign a 40-month contract and you find yourself after 4 years still dealing with that, even though you have been active. Contractually, it means that I have executed the 8 fights that were on my contract. And the championship clause, people don't understand that in the contract, it is optional because it says if at the end of the contract, if you're the champion, you're extended for 3 fights or 1 year. So that all made me think it's optional. I never thought it was optional because I've heard about this clause for a while. Ngannou recently went back and forth with WBC and the ring heavyweight title holder Tyson Fury, who appeared to express serious interest in boxing him, something the UFC champion has wanted for years. No, I will not fight for $500,000 to $600,000 anymore, Ngannou said. I mean, it's over. It's over. I just did this. I took this fight for a personal reason and because I want to make sure that regardless, even if it's unfair, I have been wrongly treated, I can take my case to say I have completed the 8 fights. But no, we've been having this boxing discussion for a year and it seems like they were okay with it. Whatever you're doing, whatever the event is, whether it's boxing, when the UFC is involved, it's just going to make it bigger. That's not questionable. So yes, if I want to box, I would like the UFC to be involved. I did not know this, and I'm just reading this article for the first time. I just brung it up. I did not know that he said he wants the UFC to be involved with the boxing. So Francis really is trying to get this thing done. If he's saying, I want the UFC involved in my boxing match. During the holidays, Ngannou had dinner with Dana White, who downplayed the rift between the UFC and Ngannou. The heavyweight champion revealed what was said in the conversation in which he opened up on how he really felt. It went pretty well, Ngannou said. At this point, I'm not upset. I'm kind of chill about everything. I went to him to greet him, and we wished each other happy holidays, and I told him my frustration. I expressed to him that I'd like to stay in the UFC, but I don't feel like the UFC wants me to stay. I don't feel like I have a promoter anymore. I won a championship fight. The next thing that was coming my way was a way to stand me off everything. I don't feel I was promoted. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I didn't see anything compared to what happens to different fighters. And I didn't see anything compared to the way Francis Ngannou was promoted before fighting Stipe Miocic the first time. So I've got to side with Francis a little bit on this. And I know a lot of people have been very, very hard on Francis about this, but I kind of feel like Francis is, he's putting his cards on the table. He's saying, look, I want to fight with the UFC. I want to be with you guys. This conversation went really well. I'm kind of tired of the back and forth. I do feel like I'm not being promoted correctly. Hey, maybe I'm wrong. He even came out and said, hey, maybe I'm misconstruing something here. So I'm really glad he came and cleared this up. Francis went full Hollywoodly, jacked his cash off. Now he's whining about money. I've heard, he had some spending issues and stuff, but I mean, I know $500,000 to $600,000, that's a lot of money to guys like me and you guys. I mean, that's a ton of money, and it's a ton of money to just about anybody. It's a ton of money to Francis, but when he knows he's going to get probably a minimum of $4 million and probably a lot more, to fight, not even in my mind Tyson Fury, maybe not even Deontay Wilder, but I think he gets 3-4 million to in a tune-up fight to fight a guy like Andrew Ruiz, possibly even a Luis Ortiz, because I would not want to throw him in there first fight, unless you're just looking for a cash grab, and I think we've already done that with Conor. Everybody kind of, I think, would see through that. It'd probably still do fairly well in the pay-per-view. But like I said, I think he gets 3 or 4 million for fighting a Dillian White. That kind of contender. UFC will never bend to France's demand. They can't, because it would cause their whole structure. It would change their whole structure. Ngannou will get a nice pay bump from Bellator, but in the long run will become irrelevant. Sorry to say. Jason says he agrees. Lambos, Mikey, he buying Lambos. Ruiz would box Ngannou's ears off like he stole something from his mama. Yeah, I don't think Ruiz would be a good matchup for him either. Ruiz is a very good boxer. I say a Luis Ortiz because Luis Ortiz has a weak chin. And he's coming off an exciting bout where Luis Ortiz just headlined a heavyweight pay-per-view, believe it or not, for Showtime. I thought it was one of the most ridiculous pay-per-views ever that they put that on pay-per-view. But he did come off the canvas to come back and win in a very exciting heavyweight fight. It's being talked about quite a bit in boxing right now. So his name's somewhat hot. I think Francis touches him, definitely knocks him out. I would take Francis against Luis Ortiz 9 out of 10 times. If I was a promoter, that's how I would do it. But the UFC, yeah, I kind of agree with Billy too. They're not going to want to set this precedence. They did it with Conor, but Conor's Conor. Nobody else is Conor. Whether you love him or hate him or however you feel about him, the guy sells more pay-per-views than anybody, and nobody's even close. I think Francis could be that other guy. I think he could be that other superstar if he's promoted right. And in prize fighting, I mean, historically, the heavyweight division, that's been your money division. That's been the guys that have made the money in boxing. Of course, from Muhammad Ali to George Foreman to Mike Tyson to Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury in boxing now. Why not Gone? He's a big, scary dude that knocks out everybody he touches. I don't see why he wouldn't be making 4 or 5 million a fight in the UFC. I don't think that's definitely to be in the millions. I don't think it's unreasonable at all. Dana will just say, you don't want to fight? Okay, don't. He's still under contract. He will just sit there until he fights. I like your style, Mikey suggests. Thank you. Hey, Kurosu Chimu. Hello, sir. Good to see you. Dana said how they gave Conor so much control was a mistake, and the UFC will never do that again. Dana will never give in to fighters' demands. I don't know how this is going to get made then. And yeah, Francis might end up in Bellator where he can fight for Showtime boxing. And like I said, I'm trying to get into the ear of Scott Coker a little bit over there. I don't have, the pull of a lot of other guys like an Ariel Helwani or anything, of course. But I think Showtime needs to drop the Bellator name. I think it's a great time to do it and just make it Showtime MMA. And promote the MMA and boxing together. I would even work with commissions to try to make it to where you can have boxing and MMA on the same card, because there's no safety reason to not have that. It's all a commission. It's all commission regulations. If Francis puts on a clinic on Gone, yeah, give him a shot at boxing. But if he goes in there and mollywobs Gone or throws him into boxing, but the money's there. J-Dig says Zuffa boxing. I know they had talked about it, then they put it on the back burner. Maybe it comes back, J-Dig. Maybe it comes back. 2021, the end of 2021, boxing really started coming back with some passion. 2022 looks great for boxing, especially those lighter weights between 122 and 140 pounds. There's so much talent right now. Coker said they would also sign Jake Paul. I seen that. And Mosveto when he is available and it has movement. Bellator would gain so much from a Jake Paul MMA fight. They would. And say what you want about the Paul brothers, and I don't like that. I don't like at all that it's the way that it got there. But we have to give some of the credit to the revival of boxing to the Paul brothers. Putting eyes on boxing again. So I think that's very interesting. I do want to touch on what happened at Conor McGregor's bar. This is very serious. We don't have to leave this other conversation, but I did have this queued up, kind of my version of open tabs. Report Conor McGregor's bar, the Black Forge Inn, attacked with petrol bombs. Now in 2017 or 18, I believe, was one of the first videos, one of the first years I was doing YouTube. I did a video on Conor McGregor and the Kinahan gang, which is a mafia over in Ireland. So Conor had an incident in a bar where he had smacked somebody. I don't think he realized that the person he had smacked was like the son or father or relative of somebody in the mob. And at the time they said, hey, you got to pay. It was like, you got to pay $1 million or we're going to come after you. Like, we're going to come after you, mafia style. And I don't know if this was related at all, but looks like a warning shot. Jason said, already asked my people in Ireland. They all say it's some local kids just trying to make a name. Thank you for the inside, Jason. So 2 petrol bombs were reportedly thrown in a pub owned by UFC star Conor McGregor in Dublin, Ireland on Wednesday. According to Rosen Fallon of the Sun, police said no one at the Black Forge Inn was hurt and there was no property damage. So thank God that no one was hurt. That's so scary. Per TMZ Sports, McGregor's representative said he was not in the bar at the time of the incident. I believe he's still been in the United States. He's been here for a long time. But he posted video of himself inside, just hours before the bombs were thrown. I stand corrected. He's back in Ireland. One of McGregor's representatives told TMZ Sports it is unclear if McGregor was the intended target of the attack. If he was just in there a few hours before, possibly. Fallon noted that McGregor purchased the Black Forge Inn just over 2 years ago in the Crumlin suburb of Dublin, which is the UFC star's hometown. It's his hometown. It also has a heavy mafia influence. McGregor paid $1.1 million in renovations. The rest of it, I don't know that's really important to the story. But scary thing. I'm glad everybody's okay. Even if we get frustrated with Conor at times, I hope no one, would want to see him hurt. I'm sure none of you guys would want to see him hurt or anybody else that might be in the bar. Petrol bombs made me think of Peaky Blinders, which is one of the best shows ever made. If you haven't seen the show, check it out. Such an amazing series. I remember you mentioning that, Billy, and then I forgot the name. So I'll have to check it out. I have several shows that I've just not taken the time to watch. Jason says, I have people everywhere. Breaking faces pays more than breaking rocks. Absolutely, Chimu. Billy Hughes, love it. Jason, nice. Wonder if the NRA is targeting the bar because of the owner's exposure. The NRA? Like National Rifle Association? Yeah, I don't know about all that. But so Katar versus Chikadze coming up tomorrow. I talked about this just a minute ago. None of this 14-15 fight thing right now. Always thinking of the IRA. Okay. I was wondering. Okay. What's up, Fuki? Oh, auto type changed it. Ah, okay. That makes sense. All right, TJ Brown. Charles Rosa coming back. A big underdog against TJ Brown. Decent undercard here. Kevin Kroom against Brian Kelleher. I have a feeling maybe Kroom was a late minute replacement, or they were just having a hard time finding a good fight for Kelleher. Because that's a pretty big favorite on the odds. Return of Court McGee. This guy, I mean, he's had several long layoffs, taking on Ramiz Brahimaj. Almost even odds on that. I expect that to be a good fight. Also, rising middleweight Jamie Pickett taking on Joseph Holmes. Not sure who Joseph Holmes is. I'm not sure if it's a UFC debut. But, close odds on that one. Good to see Jamie Pickett on the main prelim fight cards. Oh, and this just moved to 2 o'clock. This said 1 o'clock earlier today. So nothing starts until 2 tomorrow. But who knows? Maybe someone who is a huge Charlton Heston fan hates Conor. You never know. So 2 o'clock for the prelims, then 4 o'clock for the main card. So we'll start at 2. We'll do everything tomorrow. And should wrap up at 7. Should be about a 5-hour stream tomorrow then. Oh, they've added to the main card since I looked earlier too. 3, 6. I think it was 5 fights before. Bill Algeo versus Joe Anderson Brito. Card is on big ESPN tomorrow. Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought it was only ESPN Plus. Oh, there it is. ESPN and ESPN Plus. Thank you, Billy. I'm a little surprised, being that the NFL playoffs are going on, that they're having it on ESPN too, but I'm glad they are. Dakota Bush taking on Borshev. Borshev, a minus 190 favorite. Caitlin Chukagian returning against Jennifer Maia. That's a somewhat interesting fight. Both of these women, I don't think they're going to be fighting for the title anytime soon, but who will be at 125? A lot of people don't like Conor. I'm one of them, says Jason. Yeah, I mean, I don't like him for some of the things that he's done, but I mean, there's a difference between not liking him and, having that kind of disdain. Brandon Royval at flyweight, taking on Rogerio Bontorin. That's a pretty quick turnaround for Brandon. He seems to be the favorite in that one, though, minus 160. So I say, let's go Brandon. Chase Sherman. This guy's got power. He was over in Island Fights, coming back again. Chase Sherman taking on Jake Collier. Collier's coming in. A bit of a favorite on that one. That's the co-main event. That should be a heavyweight banger. Feels like it's been 6 months since there's been a UFC card. I tell you, I'm having withdrawals, Billy. I became an alcoholic in the meantime. It's been rough. No, not completely, but Pulse Reloaded says, are we doing trivia or not? I didn't have any trivia queued up, so I think we're not going to do trivia tonight. I caught that, Mike. I say, if you never ever. I had to, Billy. It's just, it's not personal. Anyways, I shouldn't have done that. You're right. Chase Sherman taking on Jake Collier, though they're at heavyweight. If it makes you feel better, I'm not a fan of either of our former presidents. So, enough politics. At featherweight, Calvin Katar versus Gigachikanza. I'm leaning towards Giga in this one. Katar's got a lot to answer after that last performance against Max Holloway. But it should be fun. Katar's always got a shot. He's still ranked higher than Giga. He's ranked number 5, but he's almost a 2-1 underdog. A lot of people, I think it was including Billy, was saying, that a lot of people might be sleeping on Calvin. They might be. Should have offered free whiskey for life. All right. Thoughts on Cupcake at 125. Really wish they would have added a better co-main, but still happy with the card. I mean, it's fun knockout heavyweight, guys. I mean, I know Chase Sherman kind of comes in out of shape sometimes. I know I've seen Jake Collier fight. I'm just not familiar with who. I know the name's familiar, but yeah, not exactly household names. My Katar gently weeps, J Dick. Ha, ha, ha. The Beatles reference. All right, guys, real quick, since we're talking about Katar and Chikadze, we got to bring up the poll. So tomorrow, I know I said I was going to do giveaways for the Cyril Gane Francis Ngannou fight. I really wanted to get everybody back quickly, and apparently I just want to give something away. So we're going to give away the Kid Dynamite magazine tomorrow. The iconic one that Rogan had to have Jamie go out and get. The Kid Dynamite magazine. The one that, Mike Tyson coming on the scene saying he's going to be the next great thing and he's only 19. That's the one. One of the top MMA sports bettors is saying Katar should be a giant favorite. Interesting. Oh, back from the bar on another mini vacation in Shirley, Western Massachusetts. Nice, Robert. I was thinking I haven't been in a bar in so long. I need to get into a bar with some friends one of these weeks. Maybe I'll catch some of the playoff games on Sunday. Try to get young David to go out with me since he's 21 now. So far, I don't look. Let me refresh. See if anybody's voted since I posted this. So it doesn't look like anybody's voted since I posted this earlier. 51 votes. Oh, is there more comments? Nope, no more comments. So 51 of you have voted, but only 4 of you have said when they think this is going to happen. We got KT McManus, Billy Hughes, Kurosu Chimu, Chimu, if you can amend that, I'm not sure if you can edit that or just put in another comment. 5 now. Greg Brimstone's got Chikadze. Okay. By knockout. So if you could put in the time. 3 minutes KO. I'm sorry. Round 3, 3 minutes KO. You did put the time. My bad. And then Josiah Perez as Giga by decision. So if your comment is not here, it is not an entry. I will post. I was going to post one on Twitter too, but I'm going to leave this just to you guys because honestly, the Twitter people don't deserve it as much as you guys. So I want it to go to somebody in this community, not to somebody on Twitter. I appreciate those that are following me over on Twitter, but if they're not following me here and they haven't been part of our community, I don't want them to win this magazine. Can't vote on tablet. Says my YouTube not updated. What's up, PR? PR in the house. Hey, Robert. Can I comment on my own thing, I wonder? I don't know if I can. Well, I can reply. Let me see if I can put your prediction in. And everybody can see this, right? Yeah, yes, you can. Robert Kerrigan. I'm going to type it in right now. Robert Kerrigan prediction. Give me your prediction, Robert. I'll post it up in there. I just updated. All the commercials are hidden now. Really? Hey, there you go. Nice. I'm voted on phone. Oh, okay. So you make sure you put your prediction, though. So if you don't put your prediction, you won't be eligible to win the magazine. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. When you give it to me, I'll type it in there, though, Robert. We'll go back to the camera. For those that don't know what magazine I'm talking about, you guys may have seen it before. It's a Sports Illustrated Kid Dynamite. says Mike Tyson, the next great heavyweight, and he's only 19. It's from January 6th of 1986, right before he won the heavyweight championship. It was $2.25. 1986. Of course, they always have those cigarette ads on the back, and sure some interesting articles, but want to keep it in pristine condition, so we'll put it back in the sleeve here. Still happy Ngannou gets to fight Cyborg. She deserves a chance. Oh, I love it. Haha, drink up. Yeah, New England Cartel, Katar. Robert's got Katar, all right. Oh, hey, got the comment. I got Calvin Katar, second round, 3 minutes into the round. All right, thank you, Robert. Yeah, Ngannou versus Cyborg, that should be fun. I think Bellator and Showtime MMA is really going to take over in 2022. I mean, I don't think you're going to take over the UFC or anything, but they have a lot of potential. Being on Showtime now, they're in the right spot. They have Mauro Ranallo on the mic. It's amazing the following that people still get from Pride. And they still remember Mauro Ranallo. As short a time as Pride was. I don't think a lot of people even realize how short a time Pride was. It's amazing the impact it made over here in the States from Japan. Because they have MMA over there right now. They have Ryzen MMA. Yeah, it's on at weird times. They don't release the DVDs like they used to and things. So, I mean, it doesn't have the same exposure. They don't have, they're not a direct competitor with the UFC. Of course, Yuri Prochazka recently came from over there. Manel Kopp came from over there. Kyoji Horiguchi, I believe, is their current 135-pound champion. Even though he's also in Bellator. Change it from Bellator to Showtime Championship MMA. I agree, Billy. Excuse me. Did I miss something, Chimu? Eric Clapton. What does that have to do with anything? I'm not sure, but yeah, I agree. Change it to Bellator Showtime MMA. What is let's bring up Bellator real quick. See what cards they have coming up next year, because we've only had the one stream of the year so far. And yeah, they're just 2 weeks away. They got the first matchup of the year on January 19th. I'm going to go ahead and bring that up. And we'll check out the Bellator MMA site. Hey, Billy, let's start calling it Showtime Championship MMA now. And maybe it will catch on. You see a Max Exodus from ONE FC. Mighty Mouse Alvarez and Sage Northcutt all will return to the UFC or Bellator once contract is up. You think ONE FC is in trouble? They got a big card coming that has Mighty Mouse and Sage Northcutt and Eddie Alvarez all on that card. So let's look at the cards coming up. First, we got Vader. I don't know why this is going automatic like that, but let's just click on it. Vader versus Moldovsky. Interim champion. I didn't realize they had interim champions in Bellator now, but I know they're going to 5-round main events for the first time next year. A lot of people are happy about that. And a lot of people who are wanting to see MMA live and in person. This one's going to have a full crowd in Phoenix, Arizona at Footprint Center. So Saturday, January 29th. If you want to actually go to the fight, there you go. Ryan Bader versus Valentin Moldovsky. Benson Henderson taking on Islam Mamaved. This is a pretty stacked card for Bellator. I'll just pass this. Henry Corrales, he's a stud at featherweight, taking on Aiden Lee. Sabah Hamasi, he's fun to watch against Jalil Willis. So that's a decent fight. That's a decent decent card for them. I'm sure there'll be a few more fights on there, and then of course their prelims. But that's pretty good. And then February 19th, we got a Gracie coming against Logan Storley. Logan Storley is an absolute stud. Neiman Gracie 11-2. I know one of those losses was to Ed Ruth. I can't remember who the other one was to. Logan Storley, just one loss in his career, though, in MMA. He's a stud. Welterweight co-main event is Andrei Korshkov and Mukhmamed Berkamov. That's a big fight. I don't know who these ladies are. Sorry, guys. Not being sexist. Vader, I think I might have heard of Vader Arteaga. She's 6-4. I'm not sure who Carrie Taylor Melendez is. Syed Soma taking on Davian Franklin. Maybe they got some more fights coming on that card. I'm not sure. I was told by a friend ONE FC is starting to show signs that is reminding fighters of late Pride days. Outside influence has stuck their nose in the promotion. That's sad to hear. So, yeah, I hadn't heard that. But first two UFCs of the year on Saturdays. I hate that because I hope there's not UFCs on both of those because I think it's a horrible idea to run against UFC when you don't have to. Why not run the day before? And here's UFC Ireland, Dublin, Ireland. This is going to be a huge one, though, especially for the fans there. Peter Queally. They're going to have, of course, a lot of the Irish fighters on this one, taking on Kane Moussa. Sinead Kavanagh versus Leah McCourt. Irish fighter Leah McCourt. Brian Moore versus Jornel Lugo. And main event, Gegard Mousasi comes back. Austin Vanderford, Mr. Van Zant, taking on current champion, Gegard Mousasi, for that middleweight world title. So, fun stuff over there in Bellator, too. I know boxing's coming around. They're getting some fight put together. I predict Wonder Boy will be in Bellator by year's end. Definitely could be. He's getting up there. I know he said he wants to fight till he's 46 or 50, something crazy. I hope that's not the case. But also a chance Dos Anjos may jump there too. Honestly, I don't think Dos Anjos ever popped like he's getting paid. And he's getting paid on that contract because he's been around for a long time. He's got a lot of fights. He's a former champion. I don't think he has the popularity to make it worth Bellator paying him the money, anything close to what he's been making in the UFC, unless he's going to just take a significant pay cut, and the UFC cuts him, which is possible. I mean, he's got a pretty good salary for, like I said, for his drawing power. But yeah, I'm not really seeing that one. Not Yakuza. One is not run out of Japan. Yeah, it's run out of Singapore, but there's definitely influences there too. They still run a lot. Pet stores, strip clubs, boat races, and bars. Oh yeah, Yakuza in Japan runs a lot. But they're not in Japan. They're over there in Singapore. ONE FC is. All right, guys, it is that time to call in and give your take. Anything you want to talk about, anything we talked about, that we've talked about so far, or anything else on your mind, call in 425-791-8730. Call in. We can talk about MMA. We can talk about boxing. We can talk about... Robert wants to call in. We can talk about bar fights. No. since you're at the bar. No, don't get in a fight, though. Unless they asked for it. You know, definitely defend yourself. If it comes down to that. Real quick, gotta run our sponsors out there. Haven't got a chance for the sponsors. Guys, Cash App, been incredible for me. It's awesome because I can send my daughter money over in Spokane, and it's instant. As quick as I can send a text, I can put money in her bank account. And since it's family, family and friends, it hasn't charged me a dime for that. I don't know if it does sometimes or sometimes not, but I haven't paid any fees. And I don't pay any fees. I don't think I paid any fees when you guys donate from the Cash App to Seattle Mike. So, and thank you for those donations, by the way, over the last year. Much appreciated. But if you join the Cash App right now and deposit any amount, you're going to get $5 back. The Wounded Warriors Foundation is going to get a donation of $5. And, there's going to be some kickback to the channel. Cash App's already taking care of me pretty well. I would like to see Wounded Warrior Foundation get some too. But, I got to give a lot of credit to the Cash App. They've definitely been our highest paying sponsor. I don't mind saying, I don't know if they want me telling the amount, but, I got a pretty good check from them. I'm very appreciative. I will say that. And guys, our other sponsor I want to talk about is Voyager. I really think crypto is getting big again, especially with the economy and stuff coming on. Guys, I've been in the process of selling my business, my tortilla business. It is, in contract negotiations, basically. It's waiting on approval of mission. It's going to get done. It might be another month. But in the meantime, I'm trading like crazy on Voyager. Those of you who have always thought, I can't day trade on stocks. I can't swing trade because you have to have $25,000 to swing trade. I thought, hey, I'm going to throw $1,000 in my Voyager account that I had from an old IRA. I'm going to throw that in there, and I'm just going to try to swing trade. So I've been sitting here watching what Bitcoin's been at, what Ethereum's been at, what Shiba Inu's been at. And I'll tell you, I have buys and sells in for a lot of these. So what I do is I just go... whatever, say Ethereum is at $3,000, which is around there right now. I'm going to put in one order. Say I have, obviously I don't have 10 Ethereum because it's expensive. But let's say I have $1,000 in Ethereum. I'm going to put $500 up for sale at $3,300. I'm also going to put in a buy order for $500 at $2,700. So when this swings 10%, and I might do it 5%, but when it swings either way, I'm going to either buy or I'm going to sell. And I have a buy and a sell order in. I got 8 views and transfers in right now on Shiba Inu, on Digibyte, on Ethereum, on Matic, on Sandbox, on Bitcoin, on Cardona. And like I said, I just put, some of them are like $50, $75 just to kind of try to get it down. But if you guys want 25, and sorry for the long ad, but they have not gotten any love in a while since we've been away. If you're not already on Voyager, guys, use my code and you're going to get 25 free dollars in Bitcoin when you deposit $100 using my code. So download the free app. Just click that link. Download the free app. Trade $100 to get $25 off of free Bitcoin. Who doesn't like free? Dana shot down Cejudo, getting a title shot quick. I didn't agree with his comments. I heard that. I remember with Dana's comments, yeah, he said Cejudo's not going to be able to jump in and out very quickly. Henry Cejudo was on the Weighing In podcast this last week with Josh the Punk Thompson and Big John McCarthy. And he said, hey, I'm ready to fight, but I want to get paid. He's like, I'm ready. He's like, I can step away and stay retired. He also mentioned that his podcast, Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson, has got an announcement coming up soon. I don't want to spoil anything, and I'm not. This is just speculation, but I have a feeling that maybe they're signing an exclusive deal with Spotify like Joe Rogan did. I don't know who else they would be signing with. Oh, Bisping's son starts fighting. He's a hell of a wrestler. I have heard that. Oh, Chima says, I want to see him fight too. Oh, so you want to see Bisping's son fight, or you want to see Cejudo fight? I want to see them both fight. Torm Brown in the house. Hey, I'm doing good, man. How are you? I'm going to keep the phone lines open for another few minutes here. 425-791-8730. Hey, Torin, make sure and go to the community tab on the channel if you haven't. I know the vote's been up there. 50-some people have voted, but if you put in the comments, I'm going to bring it up one more time. Just for anybody that didn't see this, I'm sorry if it's a repeat for anybody, but I really want to see one of you guys that's been in this channel for a long time win this. So if you just go to the community tab on the Fights with Friends channel, you're going to see the poll. Comment down below who you think is going to win the main event. I was going to type in Roberts for him, but he was able to type his in. Is there any more votes on here? 51? I think it's been 51. But now we got Robert's prediction in here too. So who you think will win? What round you think it's going to be in, the method of win, and then the round and tiebreaker that'll be the tiebreaker. So first is, did you pick the fighter that won? Next tiebreaker is the method. Unanimous decision, knockout, submission, and just knockout or submission is fine. Then the tiebreaker after that is going to be the round and time. So there you go. If you want to check that out, Torin or anybody else, giving away the Mike Tyson Kid Dynamite magazine tomorrow. Rocky Marciano, only heavyweight to finish career undefeated. Granted, heavyweight was only 188 in the 40s and 50s. Well, I mean, there wasn't as much food back then. Rocky Marciano only ate 1 meal a day, too. And I'd always heard that. He always believed in that. And I know there's some athletes that kind of do similar things now. But honestly, I always thought that, that could have just been a poor thing. That could have been, when he first started training, maybe that's all the money he had because fighters were just not as nourished as they are now. Athletes weren't. People in general were not as big. And, then he got the money. I'm sure he could afford more food once he became champion. But, maybe he just got used to it. I want to ask, how do we find out if Jones was suspended? I meant to look that up. So if you go to, if you type in USADA, if you just go to the USADA website, and I'm meaning to do this, if you go to the USADA website and you look up tests, there's a spot for UFC fighters, and it used to say who was tested and when. So, I mean, that's probably, the only information that we can really get. I know it's total speculation if he was suspended, but with the new rules with USADA and them kind of keeping a lot of things secret, it may be possible that he has been sitting out because he tested positive. I only say that, of course, because he's tested positive several times in the past. Those issues never really seem to go away with the pulsing. And he's been away for a while. And it's kind of hard to explain why. If Giga... What's up, Chris Jackson in the house? If Giga gets a dominant performance against Katar, will Dana let him face Volkan? I think so. I think he gets Volkan after the Korean Zombie fight. Another one of those, by the way. Korean Zombie gets thrown in there. I know it's last minute, but I think it's also kind of thrown in there thinking, hey, this guy's not really going to beat the champion, but this is what we've got on deck. Korean Zombie would be a popular champion. If he wins, by the way, it would be incredible for the UFC. Torrance says, see, Gregor Gillespie has been calling for a fight with Tony Ferguson. I seen that. Hope the UFC doesn't make that fight. Don't want to see that. Gregor would just wrestle him to a boring decision. All right, we got a call here. Bloomington, Illinois. You're on Fights with Friends. Who am I talking to?
Mikey, it's the one and only one-eyed Jason Keegan. How you doing, big dog?
Hey, I'm doing good, Jason. Thanks for calling in.
What are we talking about? Because I got about a 20-second lag behind you on my video from live call, so give me a topic. What do you want to talk about? You got me for about 5 minutes, man. 5 minutes, maybe two.
Well, Torrin Brown was just talking about Gregor Gillespie and Tony Ferguson possibly fighting, but I don't know about that one. What's your thoughts on tomorrow's fight? Is Kelvin Katar, how good of a chance is he having that fight?
Chikadze, for even as skinny necked as he is a granite tough, diamond knuckled. Just he's a zombie. And didn't Keator just get a clinic worked on him not that long ago by someone, if I'm not mistaken?
It was Max Holloway. Max Holloway broke the record for most strikes landed in a fight. Yeah.
So you just tenderized Calvin Keator's head like a man who just got out of child support court would. And then you're going to put him up against a hard hitter like Chikadze. I don't like that. That's not a good move for Calvin. It's not a good move.
He took a lot of time off after that fight, which I was glad to see, because anytime somebody takes that amount of punishment. But, yeah, I hope he's recovered, and it's going to be really interesting. He's got a lot of questions to answer.
You know what? And I've said it about the great Max Holloway myself. When Max had the knee problems, both times, I believe it was 2 times. I want to bet on Max. I want to root for Max, but when you come back from a knee injury, I got to see what that does. And we're talking about the great Max Holloway.
Yeah.
Now we're just talking about Calvin Keator, whose head was tenderized by an angry man for 25 minutes in his last fight. I honestly think that when you take a fight like that, when you receive that much punishment, I think it should be a year suspension, medical suspension. Because you don't come back from fights like that. Most people don't come back from fights like that. And Chikadze, he's got good grappling. He's strong in the clinch. He's good up against the fence, and he can knock you out. And Calvin Keator just has, I think, a neck that keeps his chin going. And that's about it. I don't like the matchup. I don't like the matchup at all. He would have been much better up against a more grappling-orientated fighter, in my opinion. I mean, I know he's got the name recognition. I know he's an up-there kind of guy, but, I mean, come on. Got to crawl before you can walk.
Yeah, I think the fight makes a lot more sense for Giga than it does for Calvin. Because even if Calvin wins, it's like, okay, like you said, he just got wasted by Holloway. So is he going to jump right into a title shot? Probably not, even with a win over Giga. So, yeah, I am scratching my head a little bit at the matchup. But, yeah.
They kept throwing BJ out there, and they kept throwing Diego out there, and now both of those guys are gone. It's like they need to pick one or two sacrificial lambs. The other one being Tony Ferguson. For all of his prowess and black belts and various martial arts, real and imagined, Tony Ferguson's chin is done. Tony Ferguson is done. The Tony Ferguson that was out there, free-flowing movement, yoga in the fight, he's gone. It's over. I don't understand why they're I don't understand. I don't see why Keator's got to fight tomorrow night, and I don't see why Tony's being even considered for a fight. How many losses in a row does Tony have now, Mikey?
I want to say it's 3. I want to say it's 3. All against top competition. But this is what I would have done. You got Donald Cerrone fighting Paddy Pimblett, which is obviously just going to build Paddy Pimblett off the guy. Do you want the guy that has the record for the most wins in UFC history being sacrificed to that guy? I don't see the point in that either. I would have put Tony Ferguson and Donald Cerrone. I disagree
with the Cowboy thing because unlike Tony Ferguson, Cowboy's still got the throwback in him. Cowboy's still leaning forward. Cowboy's still light on his feet. Cowboy's still bounce around. Where somebody like Tony Ferguson is just stiff, square-shouldered, hands up like a rock'em sock'em robot. I actually give Cowboy a shot against Paddy, especially if Paddy gets really disrespectful in the fight week. I remember Alexander Hernandez saying I'm gonna retire you, old man.
Yeah.
And Donald Cerrone went out there and just pieced that dude up like he was a 50-piece puzzle for a 4-year-old.
That's true. Well, don't scream, but I'm going to disagree with you. I would take Tony Ferguson against Donald Cerrone if they fought next month.
Really? I need to be introduced to your drug dealer, sir.
I have not seen anything out of Donald Cerrone that convinces me that he's doing any better right now. So, hey, we got a call on the other line. Thanks for calling in, Jason. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Mikey, have a good night, sir.
Thanks. You're on Fights with Friends. Who am I speaking to?
Teron Brown.
Hey, Torin, how's it going? You're over there in Illinois as well, sir.
I'm saying I kind of overheard that idiot saying that Donald Cerrone is better than Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson got way more left in the tank than Donald Cerrone. What is he talking about?
I thought that might make you call in. Hey, I picked Tony against Donald. I stood up for him, like I said. I think Tony would win that fight.
Tony got way more left in the tank than what Donald Cerrone would have.
I think so, too.
Cerrone's going to get his ass kicked that fight.
Yeah, and I love Cerrone. I've been a big fan for a long time. I love Tony. I love both those guys. But, yeah, I happen to think Tony has more left in the tank. I mean, yeah, he lost 3 in a row, but the guys that he lost to are any of those guys could be champions.
Come on, Justin Gates, he shot out of there and bit Neil Darius. What's wrong with those losses right there? They make him like this dude and lost to guys that's ranked 10 or 13 in the division. So.
Yeah, and Neil Darius, he's looking up there. He's fighting possibly in a title eliminator now against Vicente Luque.
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah.
Can you fight Islam? That's what I thought he was supposed to fight.
Is he fighting Islam Makhachev now? Am I mixing that up? I might be mixing up those two fighters. There's so much going on in the UFC right now.
And like I was saying how they was like Greg Gillespie trying to fight Tony Ferguson. Like that's not going to be a good fight. I hope they don't make that fight. Yeah,
no, I don't like that fight either. I can see why Gregor Gillespie wants it because I'm sure he thinks he's going to make a name off Tony by out wrestling him and stuff. But yeah, stylistically, I don't like that fight either.
It's boring. Like he gonna do exactly what Oliveira and Darius did. Just wrestle fuck the guy to a boring ass decision. Who wants to see that? I don't want to see that.
Yeah, and Gregor Gillespie, I mean, I don't know if he's honestly in a place to really be calling fighters out right now. I mean, he lost to Kevin Lee not too long ago, and Kevin Lee's not in the UFC anymore, so.
I want to see. I hope they do Michael Chandler versus Tony Ferguson. That's what I want to see.
You want to see Michael Chandler and Ferguson?
Yeah, I know Chandler's not gonna wrestle fucking like Chandler wouldn't stand that bang with him. Chandler's not gonna try to wrestle Tony Ferguson. I highly doubt if he do that. He's not gonna wrestle him.
I agree.
Wrestle him, but Ferguson, Chandler's not gonna do that.
I agree with that. We might have a little disagreement here, though. I don't think Tony has enough left to get in there with Chandler. I could be wrong. I think Chandler's going to be...
I think you do, but you see Ferguson been training with Freddie Roastem. I mean, he was looking okay on the feet against Darius. He was kind of dodging some of the punches a little bit against Darius, a little bit on the feet.
Yeah, and Jason even just mentioned Benel Darush is a monster.
You say you had to say your name Mike, right?
Yeah, he's saying Benel Darush is a monster. Benel Darush, yeah, he's a tough guy. But yeah, I mean, I definitely watch it. Anytime Tony's fighting, I'd be happy to watch.
Yeah, I do too. Like, it's crazy that Donald Cerrone last win was June of 2019. It's almost 3 years since Rocky Cerrone. Almost 3 years since Ferguson got a win.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, part of me blame Ferguson. Like, he shouldn't have took that Justin Gaethje fight two years ago in May. That's 249. I wish Conor McGregor, bitch ass, would step in and fought Ferguson, but we knew he came up with a big excuse saying, I forget what the excuse was. He's not a replacement fighter or something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would have liked to see that fight. I don't like Tony being punished for the Gaethje fight. I mean, I don't like being upset with him. I think Tony got screwed more than any fighter I've seen in the UFC. He's like that employee that bent over backwards and did all this extra stuff for you, and then you end up not promoting him because, of some BS reason. He has a project that goes wrong or something.
Yeah, but I mean, you might not agree with this, but I still feel like Ferguson can still beat Conor McGregor. And I understand Ferguson 38 years old, 37 years old, but I still feel like he got what it takes to beat McGregor. Yeah,
I'm not sure how much Conor's got left, and honestly, they might be in similar spots. I wouldn't mind seeing that fight.
I mean, it might as well do it. I mean, why not?
Yeah. I mean, I would favor Conor, I think, just because he is 5 years younger. At this point, I would have favored Tony in the past.
Okay, can you like break down the fight a little bit and tell me why? Like, what do you think McGregor can do with Ferguson? Like, just tell me about that.
Assuming Conor is able to come back somewhere around 90 to 95%, I think that speed and accuracy is going to be a problem for a 38-year-old fighter, whether it's Tony Ferguson or anybody. I just think the age against that speed and precision, it's going to be a problem.
Okay, that's your opinion, Mike, and I can respect that, but I'm gonna break down. I'm gonna break down the fight for a minute. If Ferguson was ever going against Conor McGregor, like a lot of people say, Tony just so outmatched. He's just so outmatched against Conor McGregor on the feet. But I disagree with that. I believe Ferguson can get some good licks on McGregor on the feet.
He's definitely got more tools as Conor has become more of a boxer.
He got elbows, and I think he's gonna. You can rest assured that McGregor's definitely gonna bleed in that fight. He's not coming out of it unscathed. He's definitely gonna bleed against Ferguson. I can tell you that now.
Yeah, and like I said, I like that fight, and I don't see it being anything but a 5-round fight. So I mean, if Tony gets past the third round, he's definitely gonna have a huge cardio advantage. I know that.
Actually, man, I disagree with that. Actually, past the first round. If McGregor can't knock him out in the first round, he's fucked. He ain't the second round. He ain't getting out of that. Third round, he ain't getting out of that. Fourth round, he ain't getting out of that. 5th round, he ain't getting out of that. So his best bet is to come in there, Try to do what he did. Try to do what he did against Cerrone, but I don't think that's gonna work against Tony Ferguson.
Yeah.
You think that'll work against Tony Ferguson? What he did to Cerrone 2 years ago?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he's still got more left than a lot of people do, I think. But Cerrone, not so much.
Ferguson is my favorite fighter, and I just don't like people saying he done over 3 losses against good fighters, though.
Yeah.
It seemed like just like when that hazmat kid, you know, he's supposed to. I think he's supposed to fight Gilbert Burns, the Russian guy.
Yep.
See, the UFC loves setting they stars up for failure. Like, why are you letting them fight Gilbert Burns? Gilbert Burns is going. I think he's gonna beat him. That's what I think. That's gonna be another train derail.
Yeah.
Gilbert Burns got what it takes to beat him. I'm telling you that.
He's a tough one.
Definitely a tough fight for him. He ain't gonna run through Gilbert Burns like he did against the other guys he fought.
No, that very, very true.
You got a lot of idiots saying that he can beat Kamura Usman. What is wrong with these people, man? He cannot beat Kamura Usman.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised by how many people were saying that too. I mean, maybe. I don't think he's there yet. I don't think he's proven enough to say that yet. I mean, maybe he gets to that level. Yeah.
The kid only 27 years old.
Yeah.
Give the kid a little time to develop. Don't give him no Gilbert Burns right now. I feel like Gilbert Burns gonna run through him. I ain't gonna say run through him, but he definitely gonna beat him. Then you got another good matchup coming up in March. Colby Covington and George Masvidal. I'm ready for that. Even though I think Colby gonna drown his ass in that fight, but I just want to see the build up. They're gonna talk a lot of trash to each other.
Oh, absolutely. And Colby came out, I think, about a 3-1 favorite, which is exactly what I thought should have happened when they made the odds. I wasn't surprised by that.
Yeah. Colby gonna drown his ass though, man.
Yeah.
Colby not like Kamura Usman. Like when Kamura Usman fought George Masvidal, he took him to the ground, just ground and pound him. Colby Covington ain't gonna do that when he's just gonna wrestle him. He ain't gonna take him to the ground and try to ground him down like that.
Yeah. If he stands and strikes,
he's gonna push him to the cage a lot and make him uncomfortable in that.
Yeah, I hope he stands some with Jorge, but yeah, I have a feeling you're probably right. He's probably not going to do that
because Jorge way too good of a striker. He's gonna stand with Usman because Usman striking it's not all that. So he tried it with Usman, but he's not gonna do that with George Masvidal. I think George Masvidal can KO his ass on the feet. I think he'll knock him out on the feet.
Yeah, I think so too.
He ain't gonna stand with Colby his striking is improving, but it's not good enough to really hang with Masvidal.
No, I agree, and I don't think he's ever gonna have the power. It's just something either you have it or you don't. And Colby, he doesn't have the power. He's got the volume, but he doesn't have the power.
Yeah, and I even think Colby can kick that Russian guys behind. The ass not dude. I think Colby can beat him too. But you got people saying that he'll beat Colby. Why though? I don't understand why they come to that conclusion though.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see him fight Colby.
I think Colby would drown his ass too.
Yeah? Yeah, no, I think so too. I think Colby probably beats him worse than Burns does even.
Yeah. But see, I had to call in because I can't believe that fool was on there saying something out from. So, man, Cerrone lost way more fights than Tony Ferguson did, man. Tony Ferguson had a way more impressive run, if you ask me.
All right, well, thanks for calling in, Torn.
What you said?
Oh, I said thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome, man. I had to call in. I ain't like what he was saying. What he was saying ain't making no sense. Talking about some Donald Cerrone. Look better than Tony Ferguson. No, he don't. Cerrone lost about those. Cerrone got to be like on a 6 or 7 fight losing streak right now.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I kind of agree with you there. All right, well, I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks, Torn. I think I'm about to wrap this, pretty close to wrapping this stream up, so I'm going to let you go. But again, thanks for calling in.
Okay.
All right, have a good night. Hope to see you tomorrow.
All right, man.
All right, bye. All right, thank you guys. Jason Kagan, Torn Brown, thanks for the call in. I still see the talking here. Benel Dariush a monster. Yeah, Dariush was a monster. Tony took his beating like a man when he fought Justin. I mean, I do think Justin took something away from Tony when they fought. And, Tony, he's human. He does all these crazy things. The way we see him training and things, and we think, man, this guy's not going to age. But, Father Time catches up with everybody. I think it's caught up with Donald Cerrone a little more. Yeah, great conversation too, Torn. Thanks again for calling in. Tony and Donald, both legends, in my opinion. They both. I'd like to see them fight each other. That's a fight I wouldn't mind seeing. Like I said, I would favor Tony in that one. But if they're going to keep fighting, I would like to see them fight each other. We're going to start this up tomorrow, though, guys. At 2 p.m. Pacific. Remember, UFC Fight Night, Katar versus Chikadze is on ESPN and ESPN Plus. So you can watch it on cable or you can watch it on the ESPN Plus. Both of those places will start at 2. Looks like it's going to run until about 7. Tony Ferguson versus Nate Diaz, I would love to see. That's the fight I really want to see. If Nate's got one fight left, like they're saying, I want to see him fight Conor or Tony. One of those two guys. But those are definitely my top 2 for those guys. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you tomorrow. Don't forget to put your predictions down. I hope somebody... one of you guys that has been around for a long time wins that magazine tomorrow. As always, I love you. I respect you. And I'll see you fine asses next time.